Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys Mike McCarthy replacement options that aren't Bill Belichick. The Dallas Cowboys suffered an embarrassing loss at home on Sunday, October 13th, when the Detroit Lions plowed them over, 47-9. During the season, there's been buzz about whether it's the final season for Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy, and after that 38-point loss to Detroit, it could be even more possible. McCarthy's contract is uncertain, so the Cowboys front office could decide to go with a different leader and not re-sign the coach. Former New England Patriots coach Bill Belichick is a perennial favorite in Cowboys coach chatter, but there are other candidates that are also getting mentioned as possible McCarthy replacements. As Jerry Jones sat celebrating his 82nd birthday by watching his Cowboys get trampled over by the Lions, Detroit offensive coordinator Ben Johnson could very well have caught his eye. In an October 17 feature for Sport DFW, NFL analyst and expert Sayer Bettinger names Johnson as the number one pick to step in for McCarthy. Given the way the Detroit Lions have been playing the last handful of years offensively, I would expect Ben Johnson to be one of the most highly coveted and sought-after head coach candidates until he finally accepts a job, Bettinger stated. And after turning down jobs the last couple of years, waiting for the perfect opportunity, you can't help but think the Cowboys would be exactly the type of job he'd be waiting for. Bettinger adds that Johnson has turned Detroit's offense into a juggernaut. They distribute the ball as well as any team in the league, and there are few defenses in the NFL that seem to be able to keep up with it, Bettinger stated. John Bueller from Fansided also named Johnson as a possible McCarthy replacement. It blew my mind that Ben Johnson returned to the Detroit Lions for another season to remain their offensive coordinator, he wrote in the September 23 piece. Bueller added, "What I like about Johnson is his ability to put his players in positions to make plays. He also coaches up the talent general manager Brad Holmes provides to him and the rest of the Lions coaching staff." In theory, Johnson would fit in quite nicely in the Cowboys building, as he would lean on Stephen Jones and Will McClay in the front office and would not challenge Jerry Jones all that much either. Maitland Rutledge of the Laundry Hat also names Johnson as a McCarthy replacement option. If Johnson were to come to the Cowboys, the offensive woes might disappear as fast as they appeared this season, Rutledge said in an October 14 feature. Give him Dak, Prescott, CeeDee Lamb and a new full-time starter at running back and Dallas could run up points like a cash register. Aside from Johnson, Bettinger likes Houston Texans offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick. Given the work we've seen Bobby Slowick and the Houston Texans do the last couple of seasons, it's not going to be a surprise when he's getting interviewed in the 2025 offseason by just about every team with a head coach opening, Slowick wrote. Looking outside the NFL, Rutledge points to USC head coach Lincoln Riley as an option. Hiring a college coach for his first pro job is risky, but Riley is champing at the bit to get a shot in the NFL, Rutledge stated. He grew up in Lubbock and attended Texas Tech, so it would be an ideal team to get started with. Dallas Cowboys trade deadline plans revealed by Jerry Jones. The Dallas Cowboys return from a much-needed bye week on Sunday, October 27, with a difficult test against the San Francisco 49ers. Another important date for the team could be the 2024 NFL trade deadline is on Tuesday, November 5. Currently sitting at 3-3, the Cowboys aren't completely out of the mix and sit just one game back in the NFC East. Depending on how things go this Sunday and in Week 8 when they return, the team could be in good shape entering the final half of the season. But, if the team falls to 3-4 entering November, there is hope that Jerry Jones will make a move by the deadline to improve the roster or address issues like running back and wide receiver that have been obvious for years. Unfortunately, no one in Cowboys Nation expects that to happen. And Jerry Jones doesn't either. According to The Athletic's Diana Rossini, Jerry said that Dallas won't be making roster moves before the NFL trade deadline in November. The team has continuously brushed off addressing obvious holes on the roster. Despite Jerry saying that the team is all in for 2024, he has done nothing to show that. The only thing he appears to be all in on is running out the clock on the season and using Mike McCarthy as a scapegoat. Cowboys' potential $75 million star trade target shoots down rumors. If there is a running back who might single-handedly be able to step in and help the Cowboys from the get-go, given his versatility and style of play, it would likely be Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints. Kamara is an excellent downhill runner who operates well out of the passing game, and began his career with 4 straight seasons of 80 catches or more. Kamara is not quite what he used to be, now at age 29, but he is still an effective back with a good burst, as the Cowboys saw firsthand in Week 2, when Kamara put up a season-high 115 yards and 3 touchdowns in the Saints' blowout win. Wise guys everywhere will note that those numbers reflect more on the Cowboys' run defense than on Kamara's ability, and there is some truth to that. But Kamara is still a quality veteran who could, perhaps, be had at the November 5 trading deadline, especially with the injury-ravaged Saints spiraling to 5 straight losses since beating Dallas. Getting Kamara to the Cowboys was an idea floated by former NFL quarterback and analyst Robert Griffin III, who wrote on Twitter/X, "If the New Orleans Saints continue to stink up the joint these next few weeks, the Dallas Cowboys should see if they are in sell mode and trade for Alvin Kamara." That does make some sense. Kamara is in the 4th year of a 5-year, $75 million contract, though the Saints have pushed a lot of that money to next season, when Kamara is on the books for a $29 million cap hit, which would require a restructure from the team and Kamara. But when the notion of a Kamara Cowboys link began making the rounds on Twitter/X, Kamara himself chimed in. One since-deleted report suggested Kamara had requested a trade. I request a trade. So that's a lie. I'm in an orange robe on the way to Knoxville. #whodat, he wrote. When more posts popped up, Kamara responded, "If it's any news, I'll report that shit from my couch assum. Or I'll call my brother at Can't Guard Michael Thomas, and have him break the news other than that we vibed out." In response to a post saying that Kamara would most likely want to try to find a way to retire from the NFL as a Saint, Kamara wrote, "Correct. His contract would complicate a trade but would not make it impossible. Kamara could sign an extension that replaces next year's deal and spreads the money out over 2 or 3 years." Griffin is right in that it makes sense for the Cowboys to ask, except that doing so would require owner Jerry Jones to get aggressive and creative. That's not his strong suit. The biggest question, though, is whether Kamara could still be a major threat in the ground game. The 5-time Pro Bowler has dropped off, going from a league-high 6.1 yards per carry as a rookie in 2017, down to 3.9 yards over the last 4 seasons. Again, his value as a pass catcher out of the backfield would be especially appreciated in Mike McCarthy's offense, and just about any new face in the Cowboys' backfield will qualify as an upgrade over what is on hand now. But Kamara does not sound like a man who is out to get himself traded. Nice thought, but not likely. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Alvin Kamara? Leave your opinion in the comments.